All right, what's up guys? Today what we're doing is we're installing these E36 hood vents and we're gonna do an aero catch hood latches. These things are pretty awesome. I'm super excited about this. We already got them painted up. Did that prior, that might be in this video already, I'm not really sure. So we've already kind of got started. All right, it's the sound deadening. We removed the sound deadening already, and now we're just using painter's tape to mark everything off, to take our measurements so that we know exactly where these things are gonna sit underneath the hood, so that we're not gonna have any clearance issues. We don't want any interference, and we want them to fit right. And we put a 35-degree angle on the vents, so it's kind of steep. They're reaching down, and I don't know if they're gonna clear the strut towers.
Yeah, so.
All right, I got Seabass over here. He's coming around. What's up? All right, so this is where we are so far. We're marking it all off. We want it to sit pretty square. The instructions say that it needs to be sitting about 14 inches from the front of the vehicle. And you can go back as far as 16 inches. And that's if you want to stay in the optimal cooling zone, which we definitely do. That's why we're doing this whole thing, is just to keep the underhood temperatures down, you know, while you're sitting in line waiting at the track or, you know, during traffic.
So yeah, I was thinking of maybe we could tape off across, you know, probably where the end piece is right there, like the very top.
The top of it?
Yeah.
Straight over.
Straight
Yeah, I want to
over.
get it onto the fenders. I want to do both sides, because then we're
Well, yeah, and then you
the
could
hood.
just get a box cutter and just cut it, and you could mark it.
Mm-hmm. We'll run it straight across.
You just kind of want both. Well, now let's do the other.
Yeah, we got to do
The other. Well, no, the other
parallel.
line parallel to this one.
Okay. So we can sit back right about 16. That's 15 and a half. Something about right there.
So do you have like a marker to mark the tape, maybe? So like.
I do. I do have a marker.
But yeah, I was thinking maybe you could just mark where the where it ends right here.
Mhm.
You know, just mark across, and then we could just tape like right over that. You know, because obviously we'll put the inside of the tape here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Towards the very leading edge of this,
Yeah.
and the trailing edge
Yes,
right there.
Exactly.
Close to 15 inches, roughly, right? That's like 14 3/4, I think.
Like towards the end of the tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
3/4. Yeah.
Yeah, 14 3/4. So
And
that
then-
should be close to the same.
Exactly.
Let's
So we'll
set
just
that
mark this one and then we'll measure that one again.
Okay.
I think we need to also measure the other end as well.
Okay, perfect.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. All right, so first thing that we did was kind of place this where we think it's going to be 16 inches back, just like the instructions display from the leading edge of the vehicle. So we've done kind of created an outline. We marked it 16 inches here, then it's 15 5/8 from this point on the outside edge of this tape. We got 14 1/4 from the outside edge to the leading edge, to the trailing edge of this, and then 14 inches from the outside of the edge here on the outside edge of the tape to the trailing edge on the inside. All right, so now we've done translated the dimensions to the opposing side. So it's kind of mirror imaged on both of them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run tape straight across to each mark. That way we can get a straight line. And we're gonna tape it to the fenders. Just like we have extra tape here on the headlight, that way whenever we lift the hood up, we're gonna be able to run these tape lines again. None of these lines really matter for us right now. This is just mock-ups so that we can get underneath the hood and figure out what is going to be where, and if we're going to interfere with anything and make our corrections based on that. So this is all basically our prep work that we're doing so we can have a smooth installation. You think that we should put this line on this side of the tape,
yeah.
or this side?
On the outside.
This side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this piece of tape. Go ahead. You good? I'm not going to let it touch. And then you kind of line it up with that line as best we can. I'm good. You good?
Pretty sure.
Perfect. Yeah, it's pretty good. There we go. All right, so now how do you think we should run this piece of tape? If this one's on the outside edge, should we run this one
On the inside edge.
to the inside,
Yeah.
so we keep the pieces of tape
Yeah.
further away from each other? All right, so check it out. Now we've got everything marked off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the hood. We have these pieces over here, here, and that's gonna help us translate it. So once we lift the hood, we're gonna run these tape again across from these marked points. And then anything that's gonna be in this area is what's gonna be in the way. So we need to make sure that we're gonna have clearance from here. If we don't have clearance, if like the strut tower is going to be too close to right here or whatever it may be, then we're going to adjust this either forward, possibly backwards, probably not, because we don't want too much heat getting blown onto the glass of the windshield, fogging up the window to where we can't see anything. And Condor says that the optimal cooling capacity is right within this range and 4 inches forward. So that's what we got to do. It is what it is. So this is what we got. We got it taped off. So basically anything that's going to be within this realm is going to be touching. That's what's going to be interfering in my way, which is basically in my strut tower brace. Literally, you know, this thing is sitting on the strut.
So, but I think
And
honestly, I think it would fit though if you took off the strut, the bar, the tower, the what is it called, the brace?
Yeah, the brace.
Yeah, I think it fit because if you really look at it, bro, the amount of space you have here correlated to this, I mean, it's not that bad.
All right, this is what we're doing. We really wanted to put them where they're at because it just looks so aggressive versus being a little bit closer forward. The problem is with the strut towers. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the headlights out, then we're going to drop the hood down, and we're going to look up in here and we're going to see how much clearance there is between the bottom of the hood and the top of these strut towers. Because even removing this strut brace, this top portion right here is pretty tall, you know. So we gotta check the clearance, and the only way to do it is to remove the headlights. So that's what we're about to do right now. took our measurements with the headlights out, and the thing is, you can't see past the strut tower, obviously. So this line right here, right before it, we have 1.5 inches, roughly about 1.5 inches worth of clearance from the tape to the top of the hood. Sorry, bottom of the hood. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut these lines where it sits, and then we're going to see if we have to remove the strut tower brace. I'd rather not, but if I have to, I guess that's the perfect time to. So now you guys can see what we did was we did the cutout, and then we took the center of the cutout where we cut along the dotted lines, and we laid that down on here. Can you pull that piece out and show it? And then we just traced around it. We taped it to the hood exactly where we wanted it, just like we did within our dimensions, and we traced around it. You know, Seabass did a jam up job. This stuff looks great. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take our Dremel and we're going to cut it out. We thought it'd be a lot better with a Dremel, and especially for like 25 bucks or whatever it was from Harbor Freight, super cheap. And because of these tabs are going to be super hard to do for me with an angle grinder, you know, with a 4.5 inch or 4 inch disc angle grinder. I mean, that don't look fun at all. So now we're going to start cutting this stuff down. All right, so after marking off each corner of these, that really paid off. You know, we got this thing centered up perfect, and we used a Harbor Freight Dremel. It worked absolutely fine. As you can see, the lines are perfect. Sebastian did a badass job. This thing looks great. Got the garbage bags underneath. The Dremel is way better than the angle grinder in my opinion, because it allows you to be so much more precise. We still haven't riv nutted these in. Condor Speed Shop supplies rivets, but that makes for a permanent installation. So what I'm opting to go with are riv nuts. So we're gonna do riv nuts, that way it's removable. We can keep these pieces if I get rid of the car. Guys, you should definitely take the time to get the measurements right. Check your clearances, make sure it's all gonna work out smooth. We have a strut tower brace, and these things still cleared, not a problem. We set them at a 35-degree angle. I think it was like, how deep was that? These things? I think
an inch and 3/8, I think it was.
1 inch and 3/8 roughly, right?
Something
they came
like
down,
that.
yeah. At that angle, it came down like 1 inch and 3/8. So that gave us still enough clearance, surprisingly. You know, that's fantastic. These things are so aggressive looking.
Looks
Man.
really
Condor
good, man.
does a great quality part. During the daytime, it'll be even better because you can see in there, you know, on here, cold air intake, yeah, the AFE filter, that's kind of close to being exposed as it's right here. But we're just going to refabricate an air box that's going to enclose it and make sure no rain ever gets into it. That way we can still drift it even in the rain. These are great. Can't wait to do some like data logging and see how the temps are. Condor supplies you with rivets. Rivets are a permanent installation. They give you some black rivets. It's really nice. They look great. And they're 1/8 inch. So they don't take up a lot of space. I, however, didn't want a permanent installation. If I want to be able to remove these things, I wanted to be able to remove them. So what I did was I used riv nuts, which allow me to put a bolt in with a nylon washer I used so it didn't scratch up the paint. And this is the riv nut. It installs just like a rivet, but instead of you know, being a permanent deal, it has threads on the inside, so you can put this bolt in there. Boom, screw it down in there, everything's fine. You can unscrew it, take it out, works great. The deal is, I did not have a large enough supply. I only actually had 10 of the proper size rib nuts that I needed, and so that left me with a lot of holes. So I only put four bolts into each of these air vents. So I've got to buy some more rib nuts to complete the whole job, and I think it's going to make it look a lot better whenever it has all 12 per side installed. It's going to be fantastic. But overall, I'm super happy with it, you know. Couldn't have gone any better. One thing I would say, when you do the cutout, there's gonna be the tabs where you have to drill the holes, right? Just give yourself plenty of room for those, because you can always trim off more metal, but you can never add the metal back. So if you take off too much and you're trying to center that thing perfect, you know, it can get a little wonky, you know. So you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of room. Cut those tabs a little bit larger, maybe even, than what they offer you. If you're going to use the rivets that they supply, you're really not going to have a problem at all. But if you want to do something like rib nuts, where you're going to need a little bit thicker, like I had to use, I think it was 3/32 drill bit to install my rib nuts, you're gonna need that extra space, you know. You're gonna need it. So just go ahead and give yourself that room. You can trim it off, everything will be cool. All right, so that's it, man. Now next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install the arrow catch. I may put that in this video, maybe in the next video, I'm not really sure. But I think that these things look fantastic. I can't wait to do some data logging and see if it does keep, you know, the intake temps down, or if it does help reduce the coolant temperatures. You know, they say a 15-degree drop in coolant temp on average. That's amazing, you know. I mean, that means your thermostat's barely even opening it up all the way, hardly ever, you know. That's fantastic. So we'll see. I'm gonna put that to the test, and we'll find out. So yeah, until next time, we'll see you around.